point, does any member wish to be recognized for purpose of debate on the bill? Mr. McClintock, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On July 4th of 2021, lightning struck a tree in the Humboldt-Tiobe National Forest in Alpine County, California. It ignited a small fire that smoldered for days in a quarter acre of rugged terrain. California's firefighting agency, CAL FIRE, immediately dispatched a crew to put it out. But they were told to stand down by the U.S. Forest Service, which proceeded to, quote, monitor the fire instead. Every day, the Forest Service sent a helicopter over the fire to take video for their Facebook page, but not once did they drop a bucket of water on that fire to put it out. 12 days later, the Tamarack fire exploded out of control, consuming nearly 70,000 acres. That's when I first introduced this bill, directing the Forest Service to aggressively attack fires when they're tiny and can be extinguished quickly. That bill passed out of this committee, but it was never taken up on the floor. Now, on July 4th of this year, the same thing happened on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Once again, it presents the entirely avoidable tragedy of a fire that was known about, could have easily and cheaply been extinguished, but instead was ignored until it exploded out of control. You know, the Forest Service once had a policy of aggressive initial attack when a fire is first spotted, and an informal rule to put out little fires before they can become big fires. This policy was abandoned in 1972 until it caused the disastrous Yellowstone fire of 1988. The Reagan administration restored that rule. But unfortunately, Reagan left the next year, and the let burn policy returned. And it's now cost us countless acres of forest land and countless millions of dollars of firefighting costs ever since. Now, the Forest Service argues that it needs to use fires as a forest management tool. Well, if that's the case, that tool should be carefully and deliberately applied when conditions warrant. Unplanned fires are not forest management tools. They are imminent threats to our forests and to our communities. Forest Service argues that they don't have the resources to put out little fires. Well, that's fatuous nonsense. It is obviously far cheaper to put out 100 little fires with a single airdrop or crew than to let one of them get out of control, requiring thousands of airdrops and hundreds of crews. It is dangerous nonsense to, quote, monitor incipient fires in today's forest tinderbox, even if they seem to pose no immediate danger. No person in his right mind would monitor a rattlesnake curled up in his bedroom because it isn't doing much of anything. He'd kill it before it does. This bill restores the 10 a.m. rule, requiring the Forest Service to launch aggressive initial attacks against all fires as soon as they're spotted. It forbids the Forest Service from preventing state and local fire agencies from attacking fires on federal land. It requires any prescribed fire that exceeds its boundaries to be immediately extinguished, and it requires that deliberately set backfires be approved by the incident commander and not indiscriminately set by an inexperienced ground crew. In our national forests, only the Forest Service can prevent small blazes from becoming forest fires, and it's time that they did. We also have an ANS that simply extends these provisions to all of the land management agencies in addition to the Forest Service.
Gentlemen,